Cabinet retreat enters day 3 at the Mount Kenya Safari Club in Nanyuki, with President William Ruto presiding the sessions. Today, Parliamentary Leadership and Executive Committee of the Council of Governors has a session with Cabinet Secretaries and Principal Secretaries to harmonize the 2023 Development Action Plan for the two levels of government, national and devolved. President Ruto yesterday ordered Interior and National Administration Cabinet Secretary Prof Kithure Kindiki to facilitate efficiency in the development and service delivery in the two levels of government by aligning the national government administration from assistant chiefs to regional coordinators. Francis Gashuri is in Nanyuki and now joins us live with the latest updates. Francis, good afternoon. Yesterday the focus was mainly on the cabinet secretaries and the PSs, and that is the executive arm. But today we see also the involvement of the legislature and the Council of Governors. What's the main agenda for the meeting?
Good afternoon to you. Wycliffe, Nanyuki in Nyeri County. This is day 3 of the cabinet retreat. And as you rightly put it, yesterday, the focus was on the cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries and advisors to the president on various issues. And so today, members of parliament, particularly the chairpersons of the departmental committees of various committees in the National Assembly and the Senate, have been onboarded in the session today, as well as the executive committee of the Council of Governors, basically to try and draw a roadmap and an action plan on how the national government and the county governments will work together for the year 2023. Remember, there are some functions that co-shared, if you may like, and there are those functions that are particularly assigned to the county governments, and there are those functions that belong to the national government. But at the end of the day, all those functions draw their resources from the same pot, that is the taxpayers' money. So basically, the session today is to ask the governors and the Council of Governors particularly to list their priorities so that those priorities can be harmonized with those of the national government, and where the two levels of government can work together, then they find a consensus on how to go about it. And remember also, Parliament is a key ingredient in governance and management of the country's affairs. Quite a number of laws expected to be passed this year. And also remember the supplementary budget for financial year 2022-2023 expected to be tabled when members of Parliament resume from their long Christmas recess. That session is supposed to kick off from 13th of February. And so that is why the leadership of Parliament has been brought on board, so that the national government and the county governments can outline what their priorities are for 2023, so that Parliament can be brought on board to facilitate the passage of the necessary legislations to make it possible for the two levels of government to deliver services to the people of Kenya. Remember also, the budget-making process for the financial year 2023-2024 is already underway. And so county governments and national governments have a stake because of the division of revenue bill that is normally passed by the two chambers of Parliament, outlining the amount of money to be allocated to the two levels of government. Those are part of the discussions that are going on here. Orandi, day 1 and day 2 of the cabinet retreat, there were submissions that were, or presentations that were made by various stakeholders and various facilitators, basically outlining the state of our national economy, just acquainting members of the cabinet on where the country is on matters economy, matters to do with audit. Yesterday, Auditor General Nancy Gathungu was here and gave a presentation to the members of the cabinet on the state of the audit process, on how public resources are being spent by various ministries, basically to try and show the cabinet secretaries and principal secretaries how to go about the audit process, how to go about the expenditure process, and to avoid loopholes and pitfalls that are used to siphon public resources. And so today, Council of Governors and members of Parliament are brought on board just to continue with that program and that idea of listing the priority programs for the financial year 2022-2023, and even the next financial year 2023-2024, and particularly the priority areas for development in both levels of government, that is the national government and the county governments, for this year 2023. Remember, yesterday President William Ruto said the cabinet retreat will be held every year, at the beginning of every year, so that the cabinet and the national government, as well as the county governments, can come together and list the priority projects that will be focused on for that particular year. In this case, the year 2023. So that is what is going on. We have been alerted that the president will open the session, because the session currently is a closed one. The president will open that session and will be allowed in so that he can go and make his remarks before the cabinet, before the parliamentarians, and before the council of governors. I remember, Randy, finally, there previously have been quarrels, if you may like, or friction between the national government and the county governments. The county governments often complaining of late disbursement of resources that are allocated to them through the financial year or through the budget. And those are some of the issues that are being addressed here insofar as how there will be timers and prompt disbursement of resources that are allocated to counties, so that the functions that are devolved are not derailed, and that governors are also not derailed in implementation of their functions. And finally, very finally, Orandi, remember there's a proposal by President William Ruto that cabinet secretaries will also be coming to Parliament to respond to various issues that are being raised by members of Parliament in their capacity as the people's representatives. So that is also one of the issues that are being addressed this afternoon as the National Assembly leadership and the Senate leadership also converges for this retreat that is coming to a close later this evening, when all those deliberations that were listed on the program are concluded. Wycliffe.